welcome to this Wednesday, May the 24th edition of the Ringside Report. I am Ryan Young. Joining me on the phone after his extended weekend off, the King of Controversy, Anthony Smoody. Smoody, welcome back to the Dog Pound.
It's Wednesday, hump day, yeah.
I did not talk to you on Monday. Of course, if you folks watched Monday's show, I had a fill-in for my wrap-up on that Backlash. It was my little niece and nephew who enjoyed it, and overall, I got more out of them than I usually do you in a 5-minute segment.
Yeah, it's a humdinger.
But overall, great weekend. Wrestling, of course, TakeOver. I didn't go Saturday. And then, of course, Sunday Backlash, getting a chance to spend time with the family. It was exciting. Tony, how was your weekend?
Not bad. Fifth place in bowling and not bad of a Sunday.
Good to hear. And, of course, Smoody's back in action. Let's recap Raw from Monday. Before we do, I just would like to send my thoughts and prayers out to everyone affected in Manchester, England on Monday. Tony, did you hear about this?
Yes, I did. Wow.
15 people killed in a bomb that went off at an Ariana Grande concert at the Manchester Arena. Wasn't WWE just there?
Yep. And, of course, you know, they always want to go to a rock or a teenage concert. You know, Ariana Grande starts something, but tragic. I don't know what, but it's just very tragic, the situation for them.
It is. And then the thing is it's just going to make it that much more difficult to go to a sporting event or a concert in the United States because of stupid people like this. Because,
yeah, well,
I mean, you already got to get scanned. You already got to take your phones out, every electronic. Before you know it, you're going to have to get naked before you can get into a concert.
Hey, you know, I also think is, before we talk about this, I want to bring up something quickly. There was something in the news. There were 2 poodles that were thrown 5 stories from a building. One died and one is.
Poodles?
Yeah, they were thrown. Yeah, a guy threw 2 poodles over the balcony of a building 5 stories. Killed one of them instantly, but the other one survived. But he's in jail, mercifully.
Yeah, it's not. Animal cruelty is a lot different now, and they take it a lot seriously, and I think that's great. So thoughts and prayers go out to those affected and, of course, the tragedy in Manchester. Let's recap Raw. Bray Wyatt comes out, talks about him being the Eater of Worlds. He's going to be the next champion. He's going to beat Brock. Roman Reigns just comes out and says, you know what? You're in my yard, and I want you out of my yard. Well, Kurt Angle says no better place to do it than right now. It ends in a no contest. I forgot why, but it ends in a no contest, I believe. Samoa Joe got involved. And then Seth Rollins makes a save, and then Kurt Angle backstage makes that a tag team match for later on in the night. And then you have Tozawa defeat Daivari. Tony, do you like Daivari's new gimmick? It's like he's like a hipster Indian guy.
Hey, it looks like he reminds me of the other Daivari dude.
You mean his brother?
Taco Daivari or whatever it is?
Sean Daivari.
Yeah, Sean Daivari.
Elias Sampson in his debut on Raw wins by disqualification over Dean Ambrose. I've always thought a wrestler should do this, and Miz finally did it. To get back at Dean Ambrose, he hits Elias Sampson for Sampson to get the win, and for Dean Ambrose to lose by disqualification, which now means either way, that if Dean Ambrose loses by DQ at Extreme Rules, he will lose the Intercontinental title to The Miz. So that is a very smart move by him.
Speaking of this, should make also a rule that Maurice interferes. She should be that Miz should automatically lose too.
And she should have to take off an article of clothing.
Yeah, well, remember it's pay-per-view.
It is. You can do what you want. Finn Balor comes out, and then all of a sudden Paul Heyman interrupts him, says that he is the top guy on the list for the Beast. I think that's the one that we're going to see, Tony. Brock versus Finn.
Yeah, we're going to see that. It's going to be a good...
At the old Great Balls of Fire.
Yeah, it's the first time we've seen Heyman since WrestleMania.
Well, we still haven't seen Brock since WrestleMania. It'll be interesting. Finn Balor defeats Carl Anderson. Sasha Banks defeats Alicia Fox. Kalisto defeats Apollo Crews. Matt Hardy defeats Sheamus. Then announced the winner of that match picked a stipulation. It is a steel cage match for the tag team titles. Austin Aries defeats Tony Nese. Austin Aries will get his match for the Cruiserweight title for the 18th time this year, as he will go up against Neville in a submission match. Alexa Bliss defeats Mickie James, then uses a kendo stick, but Bayley makes the save, and then Bray Wyatt and Samoa Joe defeat Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins. One final thing, Goldust did a promo. I don't know, you probably didn't get to see this, Tony, but he said the old Goldust is back. It looked like that creepy Goldust we got back in the 90s, and hopefully we get a chance to see that.
Yeah, that was a good thing. Also, speaking of some news, breaking news happened before Backlash, that next time they're in Chicago will be Christmas night. So a little Merry Christmas to everybody.
Yeah, I'm thinking, but the thing is, this is what I wanted to ask you. WWE never does live Christmas shows. They usually tape it beforehand, like the day or two before. Do you think that's got to be the case? They're not going to have them wrestle on Christmas. They're going to have to do it the week before, or the day before.
They say it's going to be, I'll have to look more into it.
They didn't really, and even at the show, I got there right before the pre-show match, and there was no announcement of the Christmas unless they did it before I got there.
Well, they put on Facebook as Monday, December 25th, as Christmas
I
night.
don't, part of me, and me and my sister were talking about this because we want to do both, we want to go back to back, but I have a feeling that they're not going to, they can't have the wrestlers wrestle on Christmas.
Well, before they used to wrestle on Christmas was a tribute to the Troop thing.
That was never live either, though. Everything was pre-recorded every year.
But the last time they ever wrestled before Christmas was, you have to go back to December 24th, 2001, at the old Miami Arena. Look on the WWE Network on the Raw archives.
Yeah.
2001, and it's December 24th. That was the last time the Raw was a Christmas Eve Raw event, and it was live.
Well, hopefully, I'm just hoping it's not on Christmas. If it is, we'll figure it out. But anyway.
Oh, shut up.
Well, I want to go. I just don't. Anyway, we're taking time out. We're way over. Tony, we're way over this segment. So one segment, you're back, and you already got us thrown off. We're going to preview Ring of Honor and NXT. That's next. Hey folks, welcome back here to the Ringside Report. On this day, Tony, it was probably the most emotional Monday Night Raws ever. In 1999, it was the Raw is Owen.
I watched the pay-per-view the night before, and hearing the tragedy of Owen, and 6 months later after that tragedy, everybody did everything for Owen Hart. But what really was emotional was when Bret Hart, in October of '99 on Nitro.
That was the first time he spoke out about it.
When he actually came out and spoke about Owen's death months before then, Wrestle Kingdom on one of the greatest Nitro matches ever. It's on the network. It's one of the things.
And also, just the way Jeff Jarrett, from his interview at Over the Edge that night, and because he was his tag team partner. I believe they were tag team champions. Right before.
And Godfather was supposed to face Owen Hart the Blue Blazer that night. That night they had to cancel it.
And he fell to his death during his interview. That was pre-recorded.
Well, what happened was, quickly about it, was JR was saying we were getting ready for the Godfather.
What a bad thing for him to have to do as well.
I know, and he says, well, coming up next, the Godfather the Blue Blazer. We're going to show you what happened on Sunday Night Heat when the Blue Blazer talked to Kevin Kelly, and then JR's like, we got something bad happened in the ring, and then they cut to the Sunday Night Heat interview, and then afterwards JR...
And later on that night, what a terrible thing to have to tell the fans. Because the fans in the arena did not even know he died.
Nope.
Because there was no social media at the time, and that wasn't announced over the live mic.
They couldn't do it. They could not do it. Vince could not tell them to do it. But guess
who the one wrestler on the roster that wasn't on the card or wasn't on the Raw Zone? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
It was Undertaker. He was with the Hart family that night.
Yep. And
I believe he was world champion at that time.
Yep, he won the title. But the best thing was when JR's at the end of Raw, towards the end of Raw, before Stone Cold came out, JR put it the right way. That was the best quote he ever said, and he cried his heart out. He said, well, I'll see you again someday.
It's definitely hard. I would say that one, obviously, and the Eddie Guerrero one were the two hardest Raws.
When my sister told me about Eddie Guerrero, when I thought it was a joke. I first thought it was a joke.
I thought so, yeah. I found out I was a freshman in high school.
And then when I looked online, I'm like, you what? I'm like, Eddie Guerrero died? I'm like, holy shit. That was on my birthday, too.
And even the And even Chris Benoit's tribute was interesting. Even though we didn't know what happened when it happened.
Here's the thing about the Benoit thing.
I mean, Vince McMahon was in an empty arena when we thought he was dead.
Yeah, we thought he was dead, but this was supposed to be McMahon's return.
Oddly enough, it was supposed to be Vince McMahon's funeral that night.
Yeah, he was supposed to have his funeral and everything, but you see him live, and it's like, wait a minute, why is he here?
Well, you knew why he was there.
Yeah, but like, why is it? But anyway.
It was sad. Them were definitely the top thing. Hopefully, we never have to experience any of them kind of Raw, and they haven't had to have a Raw like that since Benoit. So
we'll have that one when McMahon dies. Everybody will be like, yeah.
No, Vince he's a good cat. Let's preview Ring of Honor and NXT. I have not yet watched Ring of Honor because, of course, I've had a very hectic weekend. Usually I get a chance to watch it before we talk about it. I have not. We're getting closer to Best in the World, which will be Friday, June the 23rd. And Smoothie Christopher Daniels, if you had to pick one guy to be able to get the opportunity at Best in the World, who do you think it should be?
Frankie Kazarian.
You think that do you think he's ever, after the fake heel turn, do you think there's ever going to be a real one?
I think so, or maybe Silas Young or something. It's got to be somebody that...
It's going to be someone off the map? Because I think Daniels can really build up this roster.
Yeah, he could. He's a talented wrestler, and he's great on the mic and everything, but that plus, I don't know, because you don't have any more good wrestlers anymore, because Adam Cole's gone from Ring of Honor.
And he didn't show up at NXT either.
Yeah, but... It's just weird that, I don't know who would expect to be next.
I know. And then, of course, NXT quickly. It's from the Allstate Arena in Chicago. Drew McIntyre is going to be in action. Also, Aleister Black will also be in action. That'll be tonight on the WWE Network at 7 p.m. And then Ring of Honor you can watch on the Fight app as well. What?
I heard that CM Punk showed up in Chicago last
No, that
night.
was fake. He didn't show
Was
up.
it?
Yeah, it was fake. He didn't show up.
Oh,
that was just people. It looked real. I believed it for a second, but then it wasn't. Okay, folks, we're taking time out. When we come back, we're going to preview Impact for tomorrow. That's next on the Ringside Report. All right, folks, short on time here. Let's recap. As you just saw, the Sacrifice. Sting won the thing at the Ultimate Sacrifice at Sacrifice in 2009. Let's quickly recap last week's Impact Tag Title tourney for the Global Force Wrestling Tag Titles. LAX defeats Garza Jr. and Laredo Kid. Congo Kong defeats Braxton Sutter. EC3 versus James Storm ends in a no contest. That match will most likely be a strap match coming up at Slammiversary on July the 2nd. Or 3rd, 2nd. Women's title on the line for Global Force Wrestling. Sienna defeats ODB. Jeremy Borash, Josh Matthews come out, or they're going back and forth. Joseph Park's now the attorney of Jeremy Borash. Now that match, it'll be Joseph Park and Jeremy Borash against Josh Matthews. And Tony, your pick.
I'm going to go with EC3.
And I'm going to go with the Abyss. I know it's the same guy, but I think there's going to be a twist there. They can get someone to replace him. I think that's the way it's going to go. Then you have for the Impact X Division title, Ultimate X Low Key retains against Trevor Lee and Andrew Everett. Your thoughts, Tony? Do you like Do you like Low Key being X Division champion?
I like him better when he was not. He left WWE because in WWE he was nothing but a little. I don't know. He wasn't worth it WWE.
He was never in. Oh yeah, I guess he was. What was his name?
I don't remember. I can't remember his name.
But he was part of part of NXT when it was just like that tryout thing.
Yeah, because he was with Lake Cool and he won one match.
Oh yeah, he was with Lake Cool. Good call, Tony.
Yep.
So that's that. And of course this week we're gearing up, of course, for Slammiversary. Do you think Josh Matthews' partner is going to be announced, or do you think they're going to wait a couple more weeks?
I think what should happen is I think Josh Matthews will probably Abyss will come out or whatever, or Jones Park. But I want to see that Bruce Pritchard come out as Brother Love. I love you.
Ah, Tony, that gives me nightmares. I remember watching Royal Rumble 91 or 90 when he sat there with Sweet Sapphire and Sensational Sherry.
God rest his soul.
Everyone in that promo's dead, but Brother Love, because Dusty and Macho were there too. Macho, I can't believe it's already been 5 years over the weekend.
Yeah, that was tragic. But the greatest thing was ever was the first ever mixed tag team match at WrestleMania 6.
It was. That was great. Okay, folks, that's Impact. That'll be tomorrow night on Pop TV, and of course TNA. So stay tuned for that as we get closer to Slammiversary.
Quickly before you say goodbye to everything, we'll talk about this more on Friday, but I would like to say, on behalf of the weekend myself, to thank you to all the servicemen across the sea that have fought for our country and everything. I hope you guys have a great Memorial Day weekend. I know
yep, it's for you guys.
Thank you to our servicemen for fighting our country. We love you. God bless. And I'm done.
Of course, we'll be off Monday, but we're back Friday. We're going to recap SmackDown, 205 Live, Ring of Honor, NXT, a packed house. So stay tuned for that. That's going to wrap it up for this Wednesday. For Anthony Swoody, I'm Ryan Young. Thank you for watching the Ringside Report, your front row seat to all things wrestling.